other words, Tom Brady was ignoring him, correct?
He ignored him.
Okay. I wonder why that might be. You know, it's interesting that you bring this stuff up because, you see, I understand you, like Cowboy Nation, the typical pathetic Cowboy fans that you are, no sense of reality whatsoever, living in fantasy land in the past, thinking that this is 1995 or 1992 and 93. That's just the way that
Those
you
were
all
the
are.
years.
Those were the years. Those were the days. You know,
I was there.
You know what? I remember.
It was great.
Listen. I remember when Sanford and Son was out, and it was a beautiful. It was a special day. I remember when Archie Bunker was out, and with Edith trying to sing with that voice. I remember those days. I remember the Jeffersons.
Well, that was their song.
I remember
the days, right?
I remember good times. I mean, I remember a lot of things from the past. It was incredibly affectionate. It was a beautiful thing to see. I still watch it from time to time and reminisce about the good old days because it's special. But at the end of the day, when I get up in the day and I go about the business of conducting my day, I have to live in reality. And the reality of the situation is that picture of Tom Brady and Tony Romo was a metaphor for what actually transpires, what actually should be the reality that you and the pathetic Cowboy Nation out there should obviously accept. That is that you're not relevant. Don't come to me, shake my hand, and continue to move on. Whether you're wearing a sling or not, you're really not that relevant. You're not that relevant because I'm the reigning defending Super Bowl champion, and on top of it all, I've got 4 Super Bowl championships on my resume. You guys haven't had a Super Bowl championship in 20 years. You've got a quarterback that's in his 10th year that's had a grand total of 2 playoff victories. Do you understand that you actually need...
Wait, he's got 3 that won at Green Bay.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, go ahead.
Do you understand? Let me put it in its proper perspective for that pathetic Cowboy Nation. Yes, I said it for the 3rd time. That Cowboy Nation out there. Do you understand that in order to win 1 Super Bowl championship, you have to win a minimum of 3 playoff games? Just to win 1 Super Bowl. He hasn't won 3 in 10 years. 3 playoff games in 10 years. You need to win 3 in 1 year to capture a Super Bowl. He hasn't won 3 in 10 years.
And your point is?
What I'm saying to you is that at some point in time, you must understand that the only reason your Cowboys are relevant, the only reason we can talk about them on the show, the only reason Cowboy Nation is relevant is because y'all are interested in popularity. You understand? Not actual substantive value. The Dallas Cowboys, as it pertains to winning, as of yet, have no substantive value. Now, they are coming off a 12-4 season. They did win the NFC East. We do understand respectfully that Tony Romo and Des Bryant are out. And if they were healthy, Skip Bayless, these Cowboys would not be 2-3. They would likely be somewhere around the realms of 4-1. Maybe. Possibly 5-0, but definitely
possibly
at least
5-0.
Definitely at least 4-1. I'll give you that.
Yes.
But the reality is that over the course of 20 years, there are a multitude of things that have gone wrong with the Cowboys. There have been injuries. There have been suspensions. There have been just ineptitude. Okay, there has been a hype machine that was too hype and didn't validate its own hype. There are a multitude of reasons, but in the end, what it comes down to is that the Cowboys, you and Cowboy Nation, need to face the reality that the only reason they are relevant is because of you all with your pom-poms, waving them on, thinking that they're going to be something that they're not as of yet. They're just some regular old team. They just got the star in their helmet with the owner with the $1 billion plate.
Were they last year a regular old team?
Well, you know what? They were one of the playoff teams last year. They were one of the playoff teams.
Who won the East?
Well, it doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me.
Well, it mattered on that day you had to wear that.
It mattered that day. Hey, listen, dead clock is right twice a day. They got me that day.
Right all last year.
They got me that way. They got me that way.
All last year, all the way through the season.
All I'm trying to say to you is that at some point in time, it's not your fault. You are a victim. You have been contaminated.
Victim?
You have been
I'm
contaminated.
the leader of it.
You have been contaminated by Cowboy Nation.
Villain.
Okay? You are a victim.
I'm the head of Cowboy Nation.
I don't even blame you. Let me tell you something.
I set the tone for.
You know what? All I ask is that everybody recognizes that as much as you as much as you love the Cowboys, I despise them because of Cowboy Nation. The worst fans in America, as far as I'm concerned, are the Cowboys. That's right, I said it. Cowboy fans. You know why? Because y'all don't deal with reality. Cowboy Nation is irrelevant. Cowboy Nation really they don't deserve to be discussed by us only because of you, and I'm going to roll with it. But all you're doing is jinxing yourself and dooming yourself. All you're doing is setting the stage for a bunch of excuses for you to be depressed when they fall flat on their face. And at some point in time, America will stand up. And the Steelers fan, even the Raider fans, the Patriot fans, and the Giants fans, everybody will rise up and say, you know something? Bump Cowboy Nation. Y'all haven't been irrelevant. Well, I can't use it.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
It's FCC.
You're a role model.
There we go. So the point that I'm trying to make to you, the point that you know, I believe I am.
Let's stay focused.
I believe I am. But I'm here to tell you, I can't stand the Cowboys because of your fan base, because y'all don't live in reality. Every week you think like the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. Y'all haven't done anything. And that's the problem.
Did they fall on their face last year? Help me out. No, they did not.
No,
all year long.
They just lost at the end.
But they did. Did they fall on their face?
No.
Did they embarrass themselves?
No, they did not.
Was it a shameful performance at Lambeau Field
where
they got robbed because we all know it was a catch?
Do you realize?
Back me up, Cowboy Nation.
Do you realize that if the Cowboys had beaten the Eagles on Thanksgiving Day, do you realize that the Cowboys would have had home field advantage, and that catch that wasn't a catch, that call would not have been made against them. I'm saying it wouldn't have been made against them.
We were lucky to beat Detroit.
It wouldn't have been made against them. All I'm trying to say to you is this: like I said, I listen. It's not just your fault. I go on my radio show. It doesn't matter what subject I'm discussing. The Cowboy fans call up all the time. They just sit there. They lie to my producers. They lie to my producers to get on the line because they want to talk about their useless team, okay, who hasn't won a Super Bowl in 20 years. All I ask, could you get to a Super Bowl? Could you at least visit? Could you at least show us what Roger Staubach showed us, what Troy Aikman showed us, what Tony Dorsett showed us, what Two Tone Jones showed us? What Deion Sanders and Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith showed us. Could you at least do that? Could you do that? No. I know Cowboy. I know we all know those names. But over the last 20 years, the only reason we know Romo is because he messed up so much before he became relevant. And, of course, Des Bryant is a stud. Think about it. Think about it.
I have to make one quick point.
I'm just saying.
Sure.
Cowboy Nation is relevant because it's the biggest, baddest, most loyal nation in all of sports. And you're going to have to swallow that and accept it because it's just the truth. They are America's team because they have the most fans of any team in any sport in the world, spread all over the world. Cowboy international nation.
Let me tell you something. Cowboy fans are pathetic because they're boring. And they're predictable. Because they're predictable.
Because they hang in with their team?
No, because everyone knows what they're going to say. You lose by 40. You lose by 4. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Oh, we got cheated. Oh, it was a bad day. Oh, you know what? We'll be back next week. That's been the story for 20 years. You don't live, not all, because there are exceptions to every rule, not all, but most Cowboy fans don't live in reality. Y'all are nauseating. You continuously force people to want to throw up because we're tired of talking about y'all because y'all haven't won anything yet. Win something, please.
Now, back to the original question that this woman asked us.
I thought I answered that.
No, you did not, because I answered